Yo, welcome back to the Paralyzed, the Prosperous podcast, where we focus on business, leadership, and of course, keeping it authentic. And as y'all can see today, we are at this wonderful place called the Baltimore Podcast Studio.
Yes.
And we're getting it in.
Yes.
How y'all feeling today, man?
I'm geeked. Hey, listen. God. You know what I'm saying? God. You're good, right?
Yeah.
Y'all know we week in, week out, for about, I don't know, has it been about a year that we've
Almost,
been?
about
All
7
right,
months.
all right. You know my time frame. If Kayla was here, she'd be like, boy, your time. But it feels like about a year. All right, so a little less than a year. But we've been, doing the virtual, boy.
Yeah.
So the fact that not only we out here in Baltimore, getting ready to serve tomorrow, and we'll get into that. But we had the opportunity to, record live, and I'm feeling this, kid.
Facts, big facts.
I'm feeling
Big
this.
facts.
Y'all know I'm such a social butterfly. So yeah, man, I'm good. I love it.
Yes,
I
sir.
love it.
Yes, sir. Talk to me, Ally. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here. And I know Jorge said we're going to get into why we are in Baltimore, which has shown us so much love. And so Baltimore has a special place in our hearts.
Yes.
But I'm excited to be here with you guys. And, I took that good nap earlier, so I'm ready to go.
See, y'all got the naps.
Team nap.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't ready. I didn't get to take the naps, but we good.
Bro,
We
you've
good.
been sleeping since last night. All right, let's not even get into that.
Yeah.
We just rolled into Baltimore.
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
fun facts.
Yeah.
My man just been here since the day before. That's how you do it. You do it smart. We rolled into what is it? A full 48-hour shift and go right into it. So the
That's
nap
right.
was needed. I feel you, Adelaide. I'm not good. We gonna finish. We gonna serve. We gonna get this work, and then your boy going right back
to
to
sleep.
Yes,
I feel that.
yes.
I love it.
But like you said, Baltimore is a great place. It has a
Yeah.
special place in my heart because you already know I went to Coppin. This is the first place I came to when I left home, left the nest. You know what I'm saying? So I always got a special place in my heart. But Jorge, talk to us. Why are we here? Why are we here this week?
Oh, listen, man, God, I'm not I promise you. I was just having a conversation with Kayla on our way over here, right? And Kayla was just, she was just she's on the journey. She was just talking to me about, what that meant for her and God, and and I'm probably gonna butcher up what how she was saying it, but really came down to, a lot of us are too busy chasing the purpose, the mission, or the cause, when the reality you should be chasing the relationship with God.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it goes over our head when we out here, like, this is what I got to do. This is my purpose. And it's like, okay, like you bypassing the source, and you start off well because you receive it, but then somewhere down the line you get distracted and you actually it starts getting blurry on what that mission and that cause. And a lot of times, which I go through it becomes about Jorge at some seasons, and I got to remind myself, I'm like, okay, like, hold up. This is not about you.
Yeah.
This is not about what you're going through. This is about what God needs you to, do and show up and use you as a tool. So, the reason Al and I, was saying about, Baltimore being so special for us, because I want to say like last year was, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, correct me with the time frames, but I believe last year we had an opportunity to come out here. One of the schools out here, Lansdowne.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Principal Seymour. Y'all know I always get these names a little, but I'm working on it. Love and respect. But Principal Seymour and Lansdowne has always, when they seeked us out, we came in, we were able to serve. And it was just like a beautiful match, man. This principal is in the district, her district, and she just started teaching about 2 years ago, going on her third year. And it was just like, as a principal. Mm-hmm. And, they brought us in and we were able to serve her youth, young men, boys. And it was just a great opportunity. From there, we just started building a relationship. She seen the need, she see the value we brought, and that turned into another opportunity to come in the city and speak to another high school, an alternative high school, which was like an evening program, which I was blown away with it. And then now we're back again here, receiving their freshman year for this upcoming school year. Yeah. And the beautiful thing about it is that we get to speak to the youth, right? Our students. we get to speak to the educators, and we also speaking to the parents. So tomorrow, we're gonna have a whole agenda of just serving, man, and sharing and helping, Principal Seymour to develop her community within her school space and all those 3 tiers. So I'm super excited, man. I like Alalai said, I do believe in alignment, and God has literally, for whatever reason, and I know the reason, but he continues to bring us right back to this place. And I'm driving through the city, man, and I come from tough neighborhoods. I come from challenging, upbringing, and it reminded me, I'm like, oh, okay. I see, like, we need to be able to come in and literally put our sleeves up and do the work and do the mentorship and just, y'all know my story, coming up from being a teenager and being a paraplegic for the last 29 years. So when I go into these schools, it's not so much me here trying to be deep about Jorge, but it's like me speaking to myself, because when I was that age, I wish there was someone through that crossroad or that journey or that time frame to give me some nuggets and be like, all right, you're gonna do this, but maybe you might want to look at this. So that's the goal, man. That's the goal.
And what's crazy about that? The kids can tell that too. They can tell you, and that's why I feel like they draw into you so much, is because they can feel you came from where they came from. And we talking about physically and mentally. You came from where they came from. So the principles you giving them are steps to get to that next level. This ain't no, like I said, rah motivation, inspiration. No, this is emotional intelligence. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hey, listen, I in the beginning of my career, I thought it was because of the popping the willies. I'm not. That's how Jorge be making it about himself, right? Popping the then God was like, nah, chill. Like I need you to truly walk into that, and it's just because I put myself in the space. I know when I was at that, in that crossroad where decisions, right? Decisions. We're gonna talk about decisions make, designing your destiny, and it's something that I love talking about because I think we don't emphasize that in our own life as adults, but when you're kids, you make decisions, huge decisions, only in 10% of your life that affect the rest of the 90. And I don't know if you could, understand that. Like at 17, I made some silly decisions, which I thought that was it. Like that's what I needed to do at that moment, not really calculating how that was going to affect the rest of my life. So when people say, how long you been in the chair, or I speak to these kids about being in the chair, one of the things I like to connect with them is like, yo, have you ever been grounded? Like you got grounded? They're like, oh yeah. And it's funny to hear because, shout out to my kids, man, Ashley and Jay, man, because they've experienced the 6 months to a year ground. Like they know what that looks like. It's incarceration.
Wait a minute.
Oh yeah. Wait, that's a whole different episode. And they know what it is. I'm sure if they were, and Jason was in the audience a couple times. And you could see him like. I could see him like, bro, I'm going through that right now. But, my whole thing to them is like, yo, you've been grounded before? And they're like, yeah. And then we get a kick out of like, how long you've been grounded? And some a year, some like, man, I'm still grounded. I said, what the reality is, I've been grounded for the last 29 years. Right? And what I mean by that is that when you do something silly, you get grounded to get reprimanded and learn through that process. I'm still going through that process. I'm still learning through that. I'm still sitting here at timeout. And so I just give grace to God that he had opened my scales and my eyes to say like, no. You might be confined in that chair, but you're not what? Contained in that chair. So that's the goal, man. Just helping these kids, man. Just identify like, yo, like let's adjust. Let's make those proper decisions that are going to set you up for what's coming.
This subject is something that even before 25, I could not grasp it. You know what I'm saying? I could not wrap my head around the fact that if I make this decision right now, in 10 years, it's going to come to fruition. And I think 2 things that helped me out with that was my body grind, and then of course the business grind. It was like on the business side, let's talk about business. There's seeds I planted 3-4 years ago, whether it was a free graphic when the graphics were trash, or free video or picture when I was just coming up, but I offered it for free. Okay, and now 4 years later, that decision put me in a place where, okay, now they're willing to pay quarterly for this. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So little stuff like that helped me wrap my hand around it. And of course, on the body side, it's like, I can not eat this grease. I can eat salads with every meal. I can drink water, nothing but water, maybe some juice, tea here and there. but that decision is going to make it so I never have to worry about wake up feeling bad with my body or feeling groggy because I ate wrong or et cetera, et cetera. So your decisions design your destiny in every possible thing.
Get out of my business, man. Get out of my business, man. He was looking at what I was eating this morning.
Yeah,
like,
we grubbed this
like
morning,
for real.
y'all.
Like
I wasn't even judging it.
I felt convicted. I'm like, bro, like, are we gonna do this? You gonna do? All right, but yeah, go ahead. Alan.
No, we ate good this morning, y'all. It was real good. So I actually think of decisions on the opposite end of it. So I take somebody like Principal Seymour, for instance, which, hi, Principal Seymour. We hope you see this. We love you.
Yes, we love you.
But she made a decision to help her student. So she saw there was a problem. She made the choice to reach out, to get reinforcements, to do whatever she had to do to improve the overall culture of her school. Yes. And I think sometimes we don't consider how our decisions impact other people and the generations behind us. You know what I'm saying? And so it was simple. Of course, she's an administrator. She's a principal. She's doing the things she's supposed to do in this leadership role. But I think sometimes we could take for granted those decisions when we're in that leadership role. You know what I'm saying? Because her decision to really reach out and to bring us in more than one time, it is going to impact. It's already impacting the kids, right? So they started following us on social media. I'm sure some of them are going to recognize us when we get into the school tomorrow. But I would say that's a big thing for those of us that are either you're looking to be in leadership, or maybe you're in leadership, you don't even know it. You are your family. Your family's looking at you. Your friends are looking at you. Your decisions can directly impact those people and shift their destiny. It may give them access to more resources, whether it be financial or social resources like networking and things like that. The flip side of that is the unconscious decisions that we make.
Talk that talk.
You know what I'm saying? Those things are it's just built in you. It's habit, and you don't even realize how it could be bringing destruction and the things that we take for granted. And so, I know we talk a lot about habits and like shifting the narrative by shifting the habits that we do on a daily basis. And I think that's very important to like take time, take that self-assessment. We talk about taking the DISC assessment, taking the tool to really help you move forward. And so it is very challenging, I think, for both, because it's so easy for us to just do things and not consider how we're impacting others, or if the decisions that we're making are just unconscious and leading us down a road of like destruction or literally not bearing the fruit that we want to see in our lives. Right. So it's something that it does take self-awareness. It takes some self-accountability. It takes some honesty. I'm big on like honesty. Like we have to be honest with ourselves about where we are, what we want, if we truly want the things we think we want, so that we can make actual mindful decisions, the decisions that require us to be present, so that we can progress forward.
Oh, that's facts.
Clarity.
That's facts.
Clarity.
Yeah.
Clarity.
So let's talk about this, Jorge. So one of the biggest things is, all right, what people don't know is, okay, boom, you were shot. You were put in the chair. But people don't know that when you got in the chair, you were still moving like a little bit before you got shot. You know what I'm saying? So when it came down to
a whole lot,
right? So
a whole lot.
When it came down to
it got worse.
It got worse.
Yeah, it got worse. That's what people don't understand. It got worse. I think we gotta let's unpack that real quick, because I think that I believe I'm not clear on what that process was for me. Right? Let's talk about trauma. Realistically, getting gunned down, it was a traumatic situation for me. Yeah. I was 17. It not only myself, my mother. It happened right in front of her. So that within itself was traumatic for my family, mind you. I always when we talk about, and I'm sitting here sharing with people that I'm in a wheelchair, and they're like, yo, so like, how is that process? Like, I don't think I was mature enough to even receive what was really in front of me. That's why when I know that folks end up being paralyzed or going through something at an older age, it's a little more traumatic. They know they can compare. They know they've lived. Like it's hard. There's deeper rooted behaviors
That makes sense.
to change your life. At 17, I wasn't even developed. Like think about what I'm talking about. So the fact that one day to another I'm in a wheelchair. What does that really mean? And maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, even though it's still, I go back to the point that I can't walk. I'm not the same person. I'm angry. I'm going through the stages of grief, right? Like all those of adapting. Like I went through all that. But I think the immaturity in not even, like it was just only 17 years of me walking. I've been sitting in the chair a lot longer than what I was actually walking. And so I believe that was a factor. But the reality was this: when I went through that when that journey started, everything, it was like hitting a wall. Like, you ever run into, you see on social media where people running into walls or open or glass doors or what, like that's what it felt like. And it felt like everything got just pulled up underneath me, right? Like literally. But that turned into anger, and I'm not gonna lie, that anger sat there. I guess there's I don't know the stages of going through that trauma, because there's stages, right? You feel sorry for yourself, you feel sorry for the situation, then it turns into anger, and then it gets like, right, you go. I know there's certain levels of going through that process, but I remember being stuck at that angry level, and I was angry, of myself. I was angry at everybody around me. I was angry at the people that call themselves my not even mentors, but my guardians, right? My parents. I was angry at the school system. I was angry. And I had this, and you guys heard me you've heard me talk about this priorly when I speak to the youth, and it's like that I don't care attitude. Yeah. And my I don't care attitude was heavy. Yeah. And I really didn't care. I didn't care whether you liked it. I didn't care what you thought. I didn't care. I was gonna how you say, put my will into whatever I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it, and there you say something. And I just look back and I'm like, yo, how did I get out of that anger, right? How, like, because that's the reality. Before I started really self-assessing, becoming the clarity, right? I had to do a couple of steps, and only God, like, this is why I give God always all the glory, because the reality was this: I didn't make a conscious decision to say I'm gonna leave Connecticut. That it wasn't a conscious. It's not like I would have stood there, and if I would have stood there, looking back, I would have been either in jail or 6 feet under. That's what was gonna come back next. The reality is this: I got sick. Everybody around me, like that incident shift my whole life. My family picked up and go, like, they left like right away. Some folks went to New York, some folks went to Mass.
After that incident?
Literally, like, I promise you, that was more like, whoa.
Really? Okay. I didn't know that part.
Oh no, Jorge was talk about looking to your right, looking to your left, right? And then even the individuals that I was on the everyday, front lines in the streets, right, would say, those individuals started falling off. Why? Because again, now Jorge doesn't bring the value, right? And only in due time, I always tell people, actions always speak louder than words. And through that process, I started getting sick. Like, I'm not producing money. I'm like, now you both are hanging with me. You've been hanging with me for the last 4 years, but now it changes, right? Because now it's more like a job. Because now you got to make sure y'all just see me coming into this building. I had to do what? I had to walk up the stairs, right? But at that point, I'm literally, I have no strength. So people had to do what? They had to carry me. They had to deal with the chair. Ultimately, that started becoming it hindered a lot of relationship, because there was no solid value in there, right? There was only the common, what we did at the time, whether it's smoking, whether it's hanging, whether it's packing those pistols, like whatever that was, like that was the common. And so I literally got to a point that God stripped me from everything and really showed me, okay, who you worshiping now? Yeah. And through that process, I started getting so sick, because now I'm a paraplegic. I got to deal with catheters. So I was still living life like if I was 17-year-old George at the time, because that's what they used to call me, George, right? 17-year-old George at the time. And through that compound of 1-2 years of going into my third year, I started getting sick, and so I had to make a decision. I was like, yo, I gotta go see, and that, because of that, that's what put me in the transition to start somewhat shifting and letting some of that stuff go. But you said it. Now, even me going up to another chapter of my life, I was still chilling and hanging with the same people. What do I mean? I'm not talking about like the actual same people, same character, same behaviors. And so now I had time to think, because through that transition, God removed everything and everybody from me. And I had the time to start self-assessing.
So break that part down, though. Break that part down, because you always talk to us about how you was in the chair. You know what I'm saying? You just rolled up. You was about to spark that mug. And then you start looking around like. So talk about that. Reality,
the truth, honest truth is that I came to Mass My grandmother moved up there. I went up there. I was up there 6 months with her. I believe it was about 6 months, less than a year. And we got into it. She decided to get up and go. She moved to New York. And because I was angry, like I ended up in a transition of being homeless. And so at that time, you know, prior to all that happening, when I did move to Worcester, I started looking for, I wanted different. Like I understood, like, okay, whatever you was doing, like, that's not it. And I literally dodged the bullet. Well, I didn't dodge the bullet, but you know what I mean. Hey, listen, let's keep it 100. We gonna always keep it authentic, but that was to slow me down, and it was, and that situation really put me to really start identifying, like, okay, I don't want to go to jail. I never wanted to go to jail. I did care about going to jail. I did care about dying, right? And obviously, I did care about being in a wheelchair. So that transition, you know, allowed me to really think, and so I started looking at, you know, GED programs, and so I started involving myself with different type of individuals that were actually trying to do something or working on themselves. So that started. It just started showing me different outlets, different pockets.
But
of people.
I wanna jump in here because, again, going back to like that decision making, you were still making decisions all along, even though you had no idea how powerful those decisions were going to be later on. You know what I'm saying? So because the reality is, you could have been sick and could have just stayed where you were. That would have been a decision. You made the decision to leave. So even your family making a decision to leave the area, to leave Connecticut and go to Mass, still opened up a door for you to be able to get to Massachusetts, right? To get to Worcester, to get to where you are today, right? So going back to, we don't know how our decisions will impact other people, but they definitely will impact other people. Okay. So you were making decisions all along, even though you may not have been conscious of the decisions you were making, or especially how powerful those decisions would be.
Yeah, and let's, because we're big on the how, right? So let's talk about the how, because that's really, if you're listening to this right now, we want you to really understand, like, that's really that's how you shift in your different seasons of your life, and you just have to have that awareness. And so going back to what Adelaide said, she's right. I didn't have the awareness, because I didn't. I was angry. I was going through my emotional, but I did know this. I was like, whatever I just came out of, I don't want none of that no more.
Yeah, decision. That was a decision, though, right?
But all day, even though I was not conscious of it. Correct. Right? Going back to, even though I was like, oh, that hurt.
And I don't want more of that. I'm making a decision to do something different because I don't want more of that result. That is a decision.
For all you young brothers out there, it hurt. And I don't mean just the physical part of it. It literally changed who I was, and it changed my trajectory of how things were like. And mind you, as we look back now, for the good, but what are decisions you're making that is changing how your life is positioning? And so I want you to understand that anybody that's right now as a student, anybody that's an educator, anybody that's right now a CEO, right? Because we are in a transition, just as a country. We're transitioning right now. In the world, forget just our country, the world is transitioning on a regular. So everything is moving extremely fast. And I just want y'all to really understand the reason I was able to really find the pocket, right? I'm huge with football. And when a quarterback finds his pocket, right? And whether the rush is coming and there's a defense is attacking them, and they have these blitz, and they you still comfortable because you know first what's your target. Like, you know what your weapons are. I got L line, I got D. I know what the route is. So all I have to do is just sit in the pocket and shift. And just shift that foolishness, that negativity.
That's good.
Shift that, I'm just shifting, right? Shifting to life. A lot of y'all just stay solid right in front of the all that, and that's where you get knocked down. You get that blitz comes and hits you right down the middle, and then you wonder what happened. Well, what happened is that, number one, you didn't study the play. You didn't study the play. You didn't understand that, number one, who do I have on my team? Clarity, right? I got two weapons on my team, right? Shout out to the rest of the team, the wife, my son, right? Everybody that I deal with and I build with, right? But just understanding who's on your team, and then understanding what's the play. And so, guys, you know that, in the past year or so, it's never went the way we planned, all right, at times. Sometimes we hit that short pass, Adelaide takes a quick and and out, and we get a quick 10 yards. DJ, you'll get a 20, 30, and we go for that down. But then sometimes we get stuffed and we get hit. Yeah. And when it's it's 4th and 1, right? And it's like, yo, what do we do?
Yeah.
The reality is this: there've been so many times that it's 4th and 1, and we got to make a decision, and we underline and we say, okay, this is the go. But then we do a quick auto, right? Audible, right? Last minute decision. Yeah. And I believe the difference is that where I'm at in maturity, spiritually, as a man, as someone that literally, has gone through all these different parts of my life to build me up to who I am today. It's really knowing when to be still and really learning to understand what's in front of you and not making decisions with emotions. The biggest thing for me right now as Jorge, 46-year-old, shout out to Jorge, be 47 next the 27th. I think it's next Monday.
Sheesh.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? But
goodness.
But for real, it's the ability to take emotion, because if you know me, that's my superpower. I'm an emotional individual. Yeah. That's what I use to connect with people. But that same emotion, like we always say, always paralyzes me, and it becomes my kryptonite, and it doesn't allow me to grow. So I say all that to say, man, just understand what the plan is, understand who's on your team, get that clarity, and be able and willing to make last minute changes. Absolutely. And take your emotions out of anything, because when you involve emotions with decision making, that majority of the time is gonna put you in a bad space, right? Not only yourself, but people that need you and trust you. So and I'm in a season right now, DJ, is really like the how. And again, that to me, I know for those that don't know football, I apologize, but that was the easiest way for me to break that down. Is just really understanding, like, yo, what's in front of you, getting that clarity. Yeah. And it's huge.
That's huge.
And I want to encourage people to just make a decision. Like, there's a group of people not making decisions at all. And so you're letting other people make decisions for you. Or you're just not making decisions and you're just letting life pass you by. And when it comes to getting the clarity and having the plan, the reality of it is most of us that I know had maybe a little plan. Maybe it was like, I got 2 steps. That's all I know. But I'm going to take those 2 steps. I made the decision to take the 2 steps. Maybe the 2 steps was I'm going to go back to school, or I'm going to go, I'm going to start the business. So, okay, I'm going to come up with a business name, and then I'm going to go get the LLC, and I'm going to set up the bank account or whatever. But make a decision. And then as the I guess, fruit of that decision flourishes, when you see, okay, I like where we're going, or I'm not liking how this fruit tasting, then you pivot. You gain more clarity, because that's part of it. Like, the process is what brings the clarity. Like, there's no exception to that. You have to do the work to get the clarity. So, but it's making a decision all along the way, little by little. And I think another thing we have to learn is to grant ourselves grace when we make a decision. And it ain't the right decision, but that's a part of it.
But it's that short-term memory. Like, okay, you receive it, it's not the right decision. Yeah, but get over it. Like, and it's easy for me to say get over it, because sometimes that's a huge financial investment you did. Yeah, your significant other's looking at you like, bro, right? Sometimes it does hurt other people. Like, I get that, but you have to be able to have that short-term memory when it comes down to winning or even learning, right? Because we don't call it losing over here.
But if you don't make a decision, y'all, somebody is going to make a decision for you.
That's facts. And I wanted to go back to this quote.
That's another episode. Who's making your decisions?
Yeah,
that's facts. Yeah, who's making your decisions? That's a good one. I think
because but we talk about that. DJ and I were riding over here to the podcast studio, and we were talking about gentrification in the area. And I was saying, like, a lot of this didn't have to happen, though. The way it's happening, the way the neighborhoods are run down. There were some people that didn't make a decision. There were some people that didn't get involved. There were some people who didn't speak up. And so when you don't, someone else will. And then you're left in the audience, left on standby, complaining about the things someone else did, but they're the one making the decision, so they're the one in the driver's seat.
From the outside in, you're complaining. And that's
even though you had the ability to make the decision to make the impact, right?
And this is, I don't do politics, but this is where we have to go out there and make some decisions, please. Because I don't do politics, but it's my business of who I vote. But I know that that's a right, and that's one of the my obligations to be able to identify what's the best solution for myself, my family, and my community. So, man, listen, get involved. Yeah. Get involved. And man, I'm glad you touched on that, because that's real.
Yeah. On top of that, it's literally the quote that you sent me last night. The quote was, what was it? You don't have to start to be great. Wait, you don't have to be great to start. But you have to start to be great.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And what you said literally, I mean, basically was that you can't
gotta
be
do
great
it.
unless you
have
start.
to do it. You have to do it. I see so many people. I've been blessed to work in some different fields, y'all. And I'm gonna tell you, I come across so many people who feel helpless, not realizing they have more power than what they do. They have a lot of power. They just don't realize how much power their voice and decision carries. And instead, they just sit with their arms folded, and other people that are less qualified, that don't have the same heart, that don't have a heart for God, that like all of the things, right? The complete opposite of their moral compass and values, they are the people that are making decisions for them. So make a decision and then make it another one and then make another one.
Hey, don't be that could have, should have been individual.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
You know, I never finished it the right way, but you know, tú sabes what I'm talking about.
Close
Yes,
enough.
I understood. Thank you, DJ, for coming in, because Alala was going to laugh at me. She was just
I wasn't. They knew what you thought.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
No.
You gotta say it quick.
She's been chilling with Kayla. And we got to get Kayla. We
off.
got to get Kayla on deck. For those that don't, that just tuned in, Kayla's my wife, beautiful queen. But she came on she did a podcast with us, so we gotta get her back on. Yeah. That girl be roasting the kids. So yeah.
Roast, hey, a couple that roast together. You know, you already know what they say about that. You know, but real quick, I want to go back to change real quick. We talked about change, right? And I feel like when it comes down to change, people do it so much and talk about it so much that it seems like a comfortable thing or it's easy.
Change is not.
You know what I'm saying? And so I wanted to go to the example of, like, and I hope I'm saying this right to all the scientific people, but changing kinetic tissue. So, for instance, I was looking at some stuff for some NBA players, and NBA players, people think like they can't shoot because they can't shoot, or they can't shoot because they ain't been in the gym. But in all actuality, their bodies sometimes don't even make it so they can't even get a shot up. And so what they have to do.
That's what's wrong with me. Oh,
not you, maybe Markel folks, but not
Jason, if you're listening to this, see, that's why I can't shoot like that. I promise. All right, but go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I've been trying to tell my son, like, yo, there's something wrong with
there's something wrong with
Oh my
the
gosh.
wind. I'm weak.
Go ahead.
All right,
It's a real conversation. That's why I'm glad. We'll talk about it later. Go ahead.
Oh no, but so basically, when it comes down to kinetic, like changing that kinetic tissue, bro, like it hurts. It's stiff. You're stiff. You can't turn it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going through weeks and weeks of changing something that you've been changing or doing your whole life.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I learned that about 5 years ago, and I really thought it was God's timing that I learned that because I was like, okay, change hurts sometimes. You know, change is not uncomfortable. Also, change may take years.
Yeah.
But it's gonna happen if you keep working at it. You know.
Yeah.
If it doesn't hurt, I don't think I'm gonna keep it 100. Not that any change should always hurt, right? Like that's not what but I guess I've created, guys. I've allowed a relationship with pain.
Yeah, right.
Like let's talk about that, right? I've built a relationship with pain. So whenever I go through pain, I don't have a bad relationship with pain. I identify pain with growth and change. Is that crazy?
No, it's not crazy. Like even to a smaller point, like say I get like I slam my finger in the door, right?
Yep.
I'm going to do this over and over again because I understand that my relationship with pain is just like yours, and I'm gonna and over time this pain is gonna end up being better if I just keep moving. You know
Hold
what I'm
on,
saying?
let's keep it balanced because I know there's a couple people out there that's gonna take it. Go to the doctor. We're not.
No, we're not saying, yeah.
Keep it balanced.
Mentally,
Go to
right?
the doctor.
Mentally, physically,
Yeah.
I mean spiritually, definitely.
We're not saying to sit in something where like allowing pain to fester and overcome you. We're saying be able to identify discomfort, which a lot of people call pain, right? Be able to identify that and know, okay, well, this is associated because I'm doing something different. I'm changing my tissue. I'm exercising. I'm a big advocate for therapy. That changes your brain. You are going through, and it hurts. It hurts to have to confront some of that stuff. That is the pain, right? But I just wanted to put that in there because some people will go down the alley around the corner with it. Keep it balanced.
You know they're gonna send us some emails like, yo, like what are y'all talking about? I still haven't gone check my head, and that's not.
Go
but
to
just
the doctor.
But just in general, all jokes aside, is what kind of relationship you have with being uncomfortable.
Right. Yes.
And it's that's just what it is. And I think that I know that I've been able to build a tolerance and a level of excitement. Yup, I'm not. This is not me trying to be deep, or it's like when I end up in the hospital, I don't like people coming to see me. I shut down, not in a bad way. I actually take it more like, and you guys know that I've shared stories where I've been in the hospital for a week, but there's been times I've been in the hospital for a year, right? Literally going through whatever the changes are. And I get excited, just like when we went through COVID. Kayla and I were excited, even though it was a change for us and it hurt and it was uncomfortable. We got shut off from the rest of the world just like everybody else. But we literally came on the other side of that. And I don't mean, like, I know how sensitive this situation is. So, I you know, mind you, I'm saying this because this is what our experience was financially, spiritually. Everything else was on the blessed side. Because we took that opportunity to really identify, okay, what is this pain? What is this uncomfortableness? How are we going to benefit through it? And I never understood with true talk. I never understood when people go to jail, right? And they just 20 years and never did a GED program, never like you sat there for 20 years. You didn't work on yourself. You didn't develop yourself, and it happens. And so, you know, again, the beauty of me being in this chair and not letting it define who I was, but me using it as a tool to do God's work, it was all because of my mindset and how I identified with that pain and how I was gonna sit it. I made a choice not to sit here for the last 29 years and make excuses why I'm not walking in my purpose. I made a choice 29 years ago to say, well, okay, Jorge, you don't like how people look down on you. You don't like being vulnerable. You don't like being in a position where you got to bother people. Then what are we going to do? I made a choice that whatever I was doing at the moment was really not adding up. I was like, yo, I'm not good at school and math, but this just doesn't add up. Like every time I do this is a result that keeps hitting me in my face. I'm like, okay, we got to stop doing that. And some of y'all just continue to walk through the same process over as what is it, Groundhog Day? Day in, am I aging myself?
No, it's all good.
Okay, she no, you good? Yeah, the young boo over here seen it.
That's a good movie.
Okay,
I've seen it.
I know you, but you gave me like it's about 30 years ago. But that movie, you know, always reflect back to like some of y'all are literally living the same decision over and over and over, and then you mad at Jorge, you mad at Alala, you mad at DJ. I don't know why, but you're mad at the world because you're not getting the results. There's a contradiction on what you say you want and what you're actually doing.
100%.
And it's one decision. Like it's so powerful. One choice / decision, whatever word you want to use. But like it's like one could change things for you. Just one. Simple. So you talk about like, oh my gosh, I'm waking up tired. Okay, maybe you need to go to bed an extra hour early. That's one. It might seem small, it may seem trivial, but it could set you up for success. You know what I'm saying? So it's the decisions that we take for granted, the little ones, the daily ones, the mundane ones that we take for granted, but it can set you up for success in the long run.
Man. So DJ, talk to us. What are some tangible stuff as an athlete, as a marketing guru? I mean, I just want y'all to know, I don't think I praise my family here. You know what I'm saying? We got two gurus here, you know, one business development guru, and then we have a marketing guru over here, to my side. When I tell you I know what the weapons are next to me, what are the tools, you got to know who you have. But as someone that, you know, has dabbled into, you know, pro athlete, right? Because for you don't know, he was in the pros, doing overseas and all that good stuff. What is that thought process when you're in the position that you're not getting what you want, right? And it's just like, okay, your heart's telling you like this, like we, you know, again, I think Alala kind of said it, it's like, yo, having the self-awareness of like knowing when like, all right, like we try that, and not beating yourself up because you didn't get on the other side. Last episode, we talked about Jorge being furious because I fell short on a certain task. And so, mind you, I talked about like, oh no, we gonna make adjustment. Because if y'all know me, I'm like, no. And God would be like, oh, okay, he crosses his legs and he'd be like, okay, good. Let's see what you got now, right? Because if it's not, it's not. But I understand that after I do X, Y, Z, and I get a certain result, then okay, I got it.
Right.
That's just that's not where God needs me to be, and that's where not God. What is that for you? And let's help those brothers and sisters that are in position right now that just don't either know how to get that started, identify it, or even just keep hitting the tree in the wrong place. And it's like, it's not giving them the results, and they just don't know how to make a decision that needs to pivot them out of that that pattern, that cycle that they continue to be in.
You know, it's crazy. Like when you were talking earlier, I thought about this question. And in all actuality, what it is this. You can be making money at something. You can make millions of dollars. You can be the coldest in the world at something. But that doesn't mean it's your purpose. You know what I'm saying? If you don't feel yes, you can be making money. You can be killing the game, the best at this thing. You feel what I'm saying? But if it's not your purpose, you're not going to be fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be looking for other things. So for me, I love basketball. Don't get me wrong. I loved the vehicle it was. It got me to college. It made me some money. It helped me start my business. But when I look back, bro, I didn't love it. Was I in the gym? Was I working 18-hour days playing basketball? No. Was I up all night playing basketball? No. Was I taking care? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't doing these things. So what I understood was, okay, this was my vehicle. I rock with it, but it's not my purpose. You know what I'm saying? All these things didn't work out exactly how I wanted it because it wasn't my purpose. But this over here, even though I got to work at it a bit more, it's my purpose, so it's working out. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to reiterate that, like, just because, again, you're cold at it, just because, and I think we was reading, was it Simon Sinek or Good to Great, one of those other, or the Level 5 leader, one of the others.
Level 5.
But it talked about that too. It's like, again, you have to move off of your purpose. What purpose did God give you? Yeah. Not what are you good at? Not what can you make money at? What is your purpose? And when you find that purpose, all that anxiety that you have and all the foolishness that's going on in your head, it pretty much goes away because you understand the path now.
That's good. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Alala, same question. And I know you've answered some of that in different ways, but you know, what is your, you know, they're listening, right? And you know, we tend to really, I want us to really share our different opinions because we do receive things differently. All three of us, we receive it in a different way. We obviously we align in so many different ways, but there's so many different ways to peel an orange, right? Like to really get to that end result. And I believe that you the listener, who's listening to us, right? It's got to identify, like, number one, like, okay, what is that for me? Some things you got to stop doing and some things you got to start doing. That's just bottom line.
Yeah. One of the things that came to mind as you were, like, asking me the question was, you know, part of the scripture that talks about, and the truth shall set them free. I'm big on, like, you got to be honest with yourself. I've said that before. I've met a lot of delusional people.
I could be a little delusional. I promise you.
I've met a lot of delusional people. Now, let me say this. I'm a big dreamer. I advocate going for the thing you feel like God has put in your heart. Go after it. Go get it. However, going back to, like, self-awareness and being honest with yourself, that is a process that needs to happen on a regular basis, whether you do, like, monthly check-ins with yourself, daily check-ins, whatever. And I'm saying that and putting an emphasis on it because we are constantly inundated and fed programming to chase things that we may not even want. But if you aren't asking yourself those questions and doing check-ins with yourself, you don't know. You feel like you're not successful because you don't have the vehicle that the person on social media has, or you don't have, you know, the closet full of shoes or the clothes, or you can't travel. And do you even really want that? So you have to be honest with yourself about that. You also have to be honest with yourself about, are you putting in the actual work that's required to get the results that you want? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna keep it 100. When you talked about, you use the, like, analogy of, like, chopping at the tree. There have been situations of, you know, I've worked with people, right? They're chopping at the tree. It's an oak tree, but they know they want to be at a willow tree. They're looking at the willow tree, chopping at the oak tree. Why are you over here when you know you're supposed to be over there?
They're practicing.
It's called
practice.
You're wasting time.
Okay. Right.
You're wasting time doing that. And so
Never heard that.
That's why I'm like, no, you need to be very honest with yourself about what it is you want and what is it that you're doing. Same thing, right? So we talk about, for those of you that have not worked in, like, a corporate setting, they have regular meetings. Are we hitting our goals? Are we on target? Are we hitting our key index factors? That's always in the front of leadership's mind, their conversation, because they want to make sure that they are on task. You need to be doing the same thing in your life. And I know this may be a little controversial. Y'all, we have to start running our lives like businesses, our personal lives.
Why is that controversial? I think it's, no, I don't even think it's.
A lot of people hate the idea of, like, business and personal.
No, but I'll let you roll it out because it's just the principle of it.
It's the principle.
That's facts.
It's the principle. I ain't saying go out there and do nothing crazy. But the way that businesses structure their meetings, their finances, how they onboard people into their lives because they want to make sure.
Come on.
We still go back to decisions though, right? But you have to have that clarity and be honest with yourself in order for you to make the decision to say, this person needs to be a part of my life. This person I need to marry. This task I need to go after, or that actually doesn't align with anything I want, or that's not going to get me to my goal. I need to go sit down somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Or I need to take a step back. So being honest with yourself is huge, and truly knowing and assessing what are the goals, and are you actually doing something that's going to get you to your goal? Because we've talked about that as well. It's possible to be busy and not doing anything that's related to reaching the actual goal that you said you wanted. So now I got to go, do you really want that goal? And if you don't, it's okay. I'm not shaming anyone if you realize, oh no, I don't actually want that. The purpose is to hurry up and get to that revelation so you aren't wasting time and investing your time in something you don't really want.
That's facts. That's pure facts.
Hey.
But Jorge, talk to us. Give us the same question and you close us out.
Yeah.
We're asking you the same question. Talk to us.
I think there's no need to even piggyback. I think it was said. It was clear. Like I love the analogy that Alalai touched on. Like you looking at an oak tree, but you hear, you know what I'm saying? You're hearing something else, right?
Yeah.
So like that speaks volumes because, man, stop getting distracted. Stop kill the noise.
Yeah.
We're in such a space that my wife and I always talking about, like, yo, how addicted personalities, man. And when I say addicted personality, I'm not talking about just so you're out here doing drugs at a high level. Yeah. I'm talking about you going through a social media and tricking off 20, 30, 40, some of you an hour or two on social media. Yeah. And in the back of your head, you got a list of things to do. Mm-hmm. But then you just spent your whole morning, now you rushing to get to what you need to do. So now it doesn't come out the way you want it. Yeah. And then you mad at the world, but reality, you mad at yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's just real. Like let's not make this deeper than what it is. And it's that those are simple ways of me showing you your decisions. Like that's it. Mm-hmm. That's why you're not winning. And mind you, I've been on that side of things. And mind you, I gotta check myself all the time. Yo, why DJ's got social media? Why you on social media? Mm-hmm. Like so, I make sure that you're in this season. It's just no need for us to be doing stuff that doesn't align with what God has for you. Mm-hmm. And so you gotta win your space. You gotta own gotta be strong enough to be able to make decisions that are gonna dictate what you want and what you're seeking, because you are a walking contradiction. Mm-hmm. What you say to the people you love and what you say you want, you're showing the opposite, the
right.
difference, right? And so that's why people don't believe you. That's why there's no support you. That's why it's hard for anybody to jump on the train, because the train never moves. Mm-hmm. And so even though you have a great idea, the train looks beautiful, when you get into the train, you're sitting there, and then you sit there, and then you sit there. And then it's like, okay, Jorge, I love you, but I got to go do something.
Yeah.
It's just human nature. So my thing is this, like, bro, like, don't make this bigger than what it is. Really identify where you at right now in life. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a target, I'm huge, man. 12 weeks in a year, right? That book, like, did I pronounce the title right?
I think so.
Yeah, I started, and it's what the concept is this. This is the concept. The concept is that in 12 weeks, they'll teach you how to do more than what somebody's going to do in 12 months. Mm-hmm. Mm. Right? And so the mentality, going back to business, is that this is where I've been getting the whole terminology. It's like, yo, like we need to start tacking those 12 weeks, which is, what are those 12 weeks? Those 90 days, those are quarters. Mm-hmm. There's 4 quarters, and each quarter, in a year. Mm-hmm. And so when you have the idea of like, okay, this quarter, like right now we have, I want to say 4 weeks left before this third quarter is over. Yeah. October 1st is actually fourth quarter. Do you see how I already know this? Mm-hmm. Because my clarity on what I'm expecting for myself by the end of this quarter. Now, I'm not even thinking about fourth quarter yet, because like there's some things that haven't gotten done yet and need to get done for fourth quarter to be activated, period. Mm-hmm. And so now if I haven't done that, then I'm behind, right? If you're not already thinking about 2024, you're behind the 8 ball, right? And so just understanding what is that for you. So don't get overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. Just like really take inventory of where you at. Where's your time going? Mm-hmm. Right? I say this all the time, and I think you guys, I know at one point in my life, I thought that I needed this deep theory and formula to win. And as I get older and I start looking at my life as a business, I realize, man, listen, this is as simple as understanding, okay, what's the clarity for tomorrow? What are the 1, 2, or 3 tax targets that I'm gonna hit that need to be, so I move the needle, not that I have to go wash my mouth. Like I hope you're washing your mouth. I hope you're doing those chores. I hope you're doing right. Like I get that. That's not gonna move your financial needle. That's not gonna move your relationship, the needle in your relationship. That's not good, right? What are the things you need to do to move the needle, right? Don't get it twisted. People, when I'm coaching people, they want to. When I ask them, so what's the target for that? Well, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna do this. I'm like, that's not what I'm talking about. I get that. I appreciate you sharing that with me. What are the 1, 2, or 3? And some of y'all shouldn't even be thinking about 2 or 3. Y'all need to just do 1 to move the needle, right? And that within itself starts creating those behaviors and those knowings. So that's where I'm at. I don't think I need to reinvent the wheel of what you guys already put up to the table. My thing is just have clarity, identify where you actually I'm going to. And again, shout out to Principal Seymour at Lansdowne High School for bringing us in, allowing us to create a relationship. We're in the works of creating a partnership, if God lets it be and everything aligns. But we're looking to serve the Baltimore community at a high level, bringing our resources, bringing our information. And listen, man, before I pass it to you both, but anyone out there that knows you need Jorge and the team to come in and, cultivate an environment in your whether it's in your school district, right? Your school district, whether it's in your organization, whether it's your team that you just start up, because we are doing multiple entrepreneurship ventures, right? We're here for you. Not only we're here, but we love to just build family and add to our family, our community, and we want you to get around the fire, because that's the goal. Coming to 2024, we are gonna start looking at like, how many more partnerships can we get into? Because that's what I like to call it. It's not like you call Jorge and it's a partnership, because none of this work if you don't make it work, right? So I don't know if you have anything else, but that's my cue on just, grateful. Shout out to, what's the platform here?
Baltimore Podcast Studio, man.
Baltimore Podcast Studio for allowing us to come in here. This was a dope concept. I wish every city we had, they have something like this. Yeah. But yeah, man, bless.
Hey, shout out to my man Quentin. Yeah, shout out to Baltimore Podcast Studio. Hey, subscribe. Listen, we see the analytics. Check this out. We see the analytics. We see y'all tapping in. Jorge's been traveling Michigan everywhere. People been saying they listen. Hey, push the subscribe button for us.
Please and thank you.
And share. Not just subscribe. Share.
And share as well.
Please and thank you.
So, but today's title has been Your Decisions Design Your Destiny. And as y'all can see, our first live podcast, again, at the Baltimore Podcast Studio. Yeah. And Adelaide, you have anything before we close out?
Yeah, before we close out, I want to say, because of the work that we're doing in the schools, for you entrepreneurs, particularly of color, that are in the Baltimore area, there are a lot of young men and women that we are coming across in your schools that need mentors. They need a healthy outlet. And if you have room for them, or are curious as how your business could serve the schools, please reach out to us, because we wanna build true community, right? And get those businesses connected to the schools, and so these kids can see healthy examples of people that are thriving and have integrity and are making a decision to leave a legacy. So thanks, guys.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. Hey, so we'll see y'all next Wednesday.
Yeah. Bye.
Peace. Let's go.